it seems that a lot of Democrats are not happy with their candidate of choice. It seems to be now down to two, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. And if you do a little poll of American society, the poll shows quite definitively that Democrats are not happy with either. So I think Bina once called this political phenomena the Selbstdreck mit anderer Stink. So apparently there's rumours that anyone can jump into the race at this point, and people might be happy with that. Any kind of a change that will help make America even greater again. So the fact is well known that Rabbanit and Bina are always happy to jump in to try to fill some kind of niche, some public, wherever they can do to be of service to help the world and help humanity at large. And I think it's obvious, a lot of people have been writing to the yeshiva already saying, you know, where is Rabbanit, where is Rabbanit Bina, why are they not standing up for the presidential nomination for the Democratic cause? They have a lot of appeal between them. And one of the problems with that question is, which one should do it? I mean, each of them is so capable. And therefore, what we've done in the Tivariye as a service to the American people is to arrange a small debate between these two very capable candidates to see which of them would be more capable, in the view of the American people, of discharging this responsibility. Now, of course, it is not up to us to decide, it's up to the people at home. The American public is going to be actually watching this very intensely. We actually got a couple of threatening letters from Bernie Sanders' legal team saying, hey, who are you people? We don't even know what's going on over here. There's only one Jew in this race and he's self-hating. But we very much want the American people to be able to see Rav Bina and Bina, see what they're able to do. So we're going to put some questions to these two candidates over here, questions which are loosely based on real questions that were asked in real debates, and give them an opportunity to answer. Now, it's a well-known fact that the way you answer questions in a debate is got very little to do with the answer to the question. There are three different types of point systems being awarded over here for the types of answers that are given. The most important thing, of course, is not to actually answer the question, because if you actually answer the question, then half the people aren't going to like what you said. So you have to find a way to say something that nobody really knows what you said, and that the most amount of people can identify. So there's going to be three different types of points awarded to these questions. For 1 point, you can answer the question like this. Say a lot of things about the topic that sound good, but don't actually answer the question. You get 1 point for that. Or you can use the question as a springboard to jump off that to some different topic that you actually want to talk about. That's 1 point. And for 2 points, if you can suddenly turn the question into an insult to the other person that you're debating, that gives you 2 points. That is the rules of this debate. Is that clear, Bina?
I hope so.
Okay. Is that clear, Rabbanit? Okay. So we'll ask a few questions that are loosely based on real questions from debates. The first question that some of our viewers have written in to ask is this. What experience from your current jobs make you most qualified to be the President of the United States? And we're going to take it in turns who goes first. So who wants to go first for the first question?
I will answer.
Okay.
First, I want to say, to make it very clear, I just turned 72. I didn't lose my mind like some people pray for this. I cannot be President of the United States. I don't have American passport. I born in the farm in Israel 48. I don't dream about this. I'm the only one in my family don't have American passport. Now for Social Security, maybe I'm a little stupid, but I don't have American passport. I have Social Security number because my coil. I don't dream to be a president in any country. I'm a simple Jew, today here, tomorrow in 15 years in the grave. Let's make it very clear. I don't want to start a rumor or any headline in Jewish Week. Oh, I really think he can be a president. I'm not capable to be a president. Not by intellectual, and not by my English. My English is a little better from Obama, but still not a good English.
So that's definitely one quality to be president. Humility, not feeling it's worth it.
No, you got a point by not answering the question.
It's 1 point. It's also known that Barack Obama alleged that he was born in Hawaii, but there was a very large group of people that felt that he was born from outside the United States, in somewhere in Africa. So it turns out that Rabbanit very much could be the president, and you've seen there.
No way!
You've seen there one of the very eloquent ways of avoiding the questions. It was excellent. Well, 1 point for that.
Yes.
Keeping a tab. It's 1 point. Rabbanit Bina, what makes in your current job, what makes you most qualified to be President of the United States of America? And you can't use Rabina's answer, A, because he's used it, and B, you are American.
Right, I am American, and I really feel that Americans need a change. I think the people want someone with a stronger personality. I think that someone like Joe Biden is a very weakling. You know, I'm as my husband said, we're married almost 50 years. We're with each other. I think, you know, dealing with my husband and you know the day-to-day situations that come up and helping him, and I think that prepares me to deal with a lot of people in America. He's, as I said, my husband, even though he's born in Israel, is very American, a little bit spoiled in different foods, every day a different diet, you know. So I know how to deal with difficult situations. I could deal with difficult situations, any situation that comes up. With my husband, every minute is something different. It's like we never know what's happening. It's been a roller coaster of a life, Baruch Hashem, devoted to Torah and Chesed and Yirat Shamayim, which are important, right, for everyone to understand. And I think that shows I can deal with any kind of situation that comes up.
That's great.
That's 4 points, I think.
Yeah,
That's 4 points. She
4
said a lot
points.
of things about some of the sound.
She didn't talk about the job. She didn't talk about the job.
Right. She used the question as a jumping point to talk about Yirat Shamayim and stuff, which got nothing to do with the presidency of America, of course. She also mentioned about like dealing with Rabbanit,
how difficult it is,
which is implied that's some kind of a job. And then it was an insult against Joe Biden, Rabbanit. And I think excellent. That's at least 4 points. I got four. Full house. Okay, question number 2, and this time we're going to go to Rabbanit first. If you were elected, what would you do differently to Donald Trump?
Then
Donald Trump. What would it, for the record? If you were voted to be president of America, what would you do differently than Donald Trump?
Even though I guess I have to be for this to become the candidate for the Democratic Party, I have to be a Democrat. I don't know if I am. I'm not registered in the United States. I voted a few times, not every election. So I agree with Trump on a lot of his policies. I happen to make America great, as we are. I think that's something that the Democrats should adopt. See, I want to make the Democratic Party a little bit more conservative, a little bit more pro-American. I think that's important. I wouldn't, I think Trump, the way he deals with women, I don't know. I've heard, rumor. So I think that has to be, taken out of American society. I think that women have to be given more respect and honor, and if I'm elected, will help you to do that.
That was good. That was definitely an insult to Donald Trump.
Yes, for sure.
And things that stand about the topic without really. Listen,
give it 3.
I think we're noticing a pattern here already after the second question. I think Rabbanit could be a politician. Rabbanit, if you were the president, you can't be, but if you were the president, what would you do differently to Donald Trump?
Then Donald Trump.
What would you do differently than Donald Trump?
First, I want to say the night of the election, a few years ago, I don't have television in my house, and I was before a test in the hospital, as I didn't sleep most of the night, and I don't have a radio. And I'm sitting in my bed and said, who is going to be the president? I said, for sure, Trump be the president. Because the news, the media have to lose. The whole bunch of fake news. Fake news. I think so Trump is a great president. Great president. I'm not telling you he's a tzaddik like Rav Nevitzal. Doesn't written any place. He's better from John Kennedy, the Playboy magazine alive, 24/7. Better from Robertson Clinton, but she is one of the biggest anti-Semites in the world. Maybe she is more from Obama. The only thing difference I do from Trump, I don't believe in this is Twitter every second. Before Modernity, already send a Twitter. But maybe I'm old-fashioned. But I think so. He's a great president. We have to pray for him. We have to support him. I feel next time I feel against myself. He is very good for the Jews. And Purim is a time of appreciation. And we don't have appreciation to human being. We don't have appreciation to Hashem. Anybody, especially Jews, but against Trump, is a problem with his religion. Big problem with his religion.
All right, so you had that's a 3-pointer. That was turning into insult against the opponent,
sure, yeah.
and it was use the question as a jumping point to
Yeah.
talk about something
He
completely
insulted
different.
two people.
Yeah, but it was opponent. It was mainly opponent.
But he answered Twitter. No,
Yeah.
forget opponent. As
Yeah.
long as he insults anybody.
Well,
okay.
so we had importantly, if Rabbanit was president, he would only use Twitter after Modernity. It's an interesting, it's a good distinction there between Rabbanit and Donald Trump. Good. Okay. The question number 3. In the big picture, this is the question is for Bina to go first. In the big picture, why should Black and Latino voters trust your judgment?
What?
Why should Black and Latino voters trust your judgment?
Trust me, can ask my worker Khalil, he's a Christian Arab, when his house is under Shiputzim, how do you say Shiputzim?
Renovations.
He moved to me for a few weeks. We are more nice from nice. If people don't throw stones on me, or don't try to kill me, I'm a big believer in equal. I'm not right wing, I'm not left wing, I'm for reality. I'm willing to give big part to them back. Big part. You don't need to fight with them. I have nothing against them.
Of land in Israel.
When my granddaughter was sick in the hospital in Tel HaShomer, let's not talk about the races, what was there, as Muhammad got a bed from Gaza before Mickey from Yerushalayim. This is racist against the Jews. And whenever it was Muhammad, or Muhammad did a girl in his room, in her room, every time we are nice to them. They never answer us. They never split to our direction. But every time we try to give them food, or treat them nice. They are exactly like us. We're not better for them. He's a racist in Israel. He's a racist against the Ethiopian, against the Russian, against the American. Israel love Aliyah, but hate Olim. It's a fact. Because Oles the Rishivas. Don't take it out. Chutz lekes and Israeli never sit together in Dynamo. Never. Not in the past, not in the future, and not today. Israel have American money, but then, they're stupid.
Well, that answered the question.
He answered the question.
And then it also didn't answer the question because it also spoke about something completely different as well.
Okay.
That was good. Unfortunately, there's no insult there, so it's only 2 points.
No, the Israeli society and all the races.
They're not the opponents here.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's just insulting an entire society, but that's not an opponent.
We'll give 1 point.
Robertson, in the big picture, why should Black and Latino voters trust your judgment as President of America?
The black, I think, should be called Afro-American, by the way. I think they're better.
That's an actual question from a Democratic debate, just for the record.
Oh, really? It's
Well,
supposed
yeah,
to use
so-
the word. I don't know. You know, the terms changed. Used to be Negro. Now the Negro wasn't good. Now I'm trying to keep up the PC. Right?
Yeah.
I want to be PC. I think that everyone, society has to be pluralistic, has to include many different people. You can't have society. You can't have society that's homogeneous. It has to be heterogeneous. Now, what I was telling the boys in the yeshiva, we were talking Hanukkah. I repeated it on Purim about the United States and being a melting pot. See, a melting pot. The problem is that you have the WASPs and the white and the Jew and the Latino and the black or the Afro-American, and everyone becomes the same. But that's very boring, and then it's all homogeneous. No, we don't. I think the black, because there is a black culture. There's an Afro-American culture, there's a Latino culture. So we want you to be part of America, have democracy, but yet yet be your own person. Jew should be a Jew. He should be a strong and powerful Jew and light the menorah and read the Megillah, right? That's our tradition. And the Latino should be a good Latino. But living together in the society, in the fabric, of the beautiful fabric of the American democratic society.
She actually answered the question, no points.
No.
Right. Well, she also pointed out something that we've heard from Bina for many years. I've heard Bina a lot of times that she was saying he does not want the guys to be homogeneous. Right. Rabbanit Bina, what do you think about the stop and frisk policy?
The what?
The stop and frisk policy.
Stop and frisk in for what situation?
I'm afraid my rules are I'm not allowed to explain the questions. I can only repeat the questions. And as a politician, you're going to show us how you are either able to get around the question or other. But what do you think about the stop and frisk policy?
Okay. So stop and frisk, I think, is a terrible idea. They're now doing it in airports. They're going to stop the whole society from developing. But you can't just stop and frisk. You have to move ahead. You can't, I think it's a terrible policy. I think it's wonderful to just move forward and no frisking. I get very upset when I'm frisked and then they want me to take off my hat. I don't have religious freedom. That's the wrong thing to do. A person should be able to walk with their head up high and not be stopped and frisked.
All right, well, you heard it there. There's nothing worse than stop and frisk. Thank you. Well, how many points? I think that's 10 points. That's right. That answers 10 points before you start. Rabbina, what do you think about the stop and frisk policy?
I don't understand English.
Well, yes. What do you think about it?
I don't understand. I'm not politically correct and I do not do it. And I'm not for politics.
So,
Say you disagree with it.
So Rabbina can't understand stop and frisk. Well, you can't understand it. Okay.
Can you explain to me Rabbi Pace? The words, I don't understand the words.
Maybe after we finish
The stop and
recording.
frisk is I stop you and then I frisk you.
No, they have a thing in America where they try to profile like who might be a criminal. So they stop them in the street to see if they've got anything on them. And often it seems to target
The
Afro-Americans and...
They check the most, I fly a lot. They check the most the Jews, a person like me. They never check Arabs almost. Never check people, Yeshu, the Hezbollah people. Never check.
But this is even in the street, not only in the
Only
airport.
they check the Jews. So many times I remember one time I was in Baltimore, right after my big operation with the stomach, and for some reason the machine picked up as I have a nuclear on my body, maybe the gel of the stomach. They moved me out another room. They closed the whole area. They called the chief. The chief came and said, "Don't move." Then they asked me, "From where you are?" I said, "From Israel. I'm an officer in the army. I have a stomach. Goodbye." They stopped the whole airport in Baltimore. Talking 20 years ago. This is the brain of Baltimore.
So really, Rabbina's very anti the stop and frisk policy.
I really think of to be personally, or to call it profile the person. What the Israeli do.
Okay.
Profile the person.
But
Equal.
profiling is also stop and frisk.
Excuse me. The terrorist people started, our cousins started this. Whenever used to be security in the airport. When I flew to a wedding 70,
Just walked in.
was a piece of toilet paper written Mr. Aaron Bina. Walk in. Olympic area.
Olympic Airline.
Olympic airline. Went to Greece to another place, and then to United States. All their cousins started. That's what they complain.
All right. So they.
מי שטרח בערב שבס, ילך בשבס. This is what you prepared, you're the terrorist.
We inherited
As
this
you
promise
pay
from
the
the terrorists.
price.
Right.
You cannot get the cake from both sides and the cake be full.
Okay. So a few
And
fallouts
after
there.
this, cheating the world.
A few fallouts there. So terrorists caused this whole thing to happen. Most of the people being stopped are either terrorists or Jews. That's the okay. How many points is that, Rabina?
I think he actually answered the question.
Oh,
No,
you answered the question, Rabina. That's
Okay?
1 point.
no,
You're supposed to
Every
answer-
time I
no,
lose
no,
You're supposed to answer the
zero.
question.
Zero. You get 0.
Oh,
for
sorry. Oh, yeah, you answered 0 points. You answered the question.
I never
Politics. Can't answer the
win me
question.
against my wife. Don't worry.
I remember last year, actually. I think we. Okay.
Wait a second.
Well, we're back. In fact, because it's been cut, we never left. So we've been here the whole time. No one's left. Nothing's happened. Okay. Question number. We don't remember which number. Who's going first? Rabbanit Bina's going first. Rabbanit Bina, what policies would you enact to fight climate change, global warming, and rising sea levels?
All right, so climate change is a big problem, and as we have it here in Israel, this has been a very rainy winter. We have to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? We said, Mashiva Ruach, Marida Geshem, right? We all davened, like, Lech Knosset HaYudim. It's important, the davening, and that'll bring about the climate change. We don't, anything we'll daven. Like we had this year, we brought a climate change to Israel. So much rain on the day of the elections. It's very important to have elections 3 times a year. Chazaka, we need elections all the time. So every day in Israel, meanwhile, so far, elections has been a vacation day. So my children went up the Golan, and they sent such beautiful pictures of the water rushing. It's a climate change, and it could all come davening, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mashiva Ruach, Marida Geshem. Not a problem with climate change. I have the answer. Very good answer.
Really good. Yes, as I said, a lot of things about the topic, and completely jumped off to something else. That's at least 2 points. 2 points. Rabina, what would you do to fight climate change, global warming, and rising sea levels?
I think so. Like here in Bnei Brak, people with their job, every day is no chumras. People sit in special koilim, every day no chumras. All this concept is 1 shekel. המחדש בטובו בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית. Don't try to be smarter from God. What I read, I don't read Google, but I read, whatever I read, is too much garbage in this. Too much people want to collect Nobel Prize and drive the people crazy and verdrein the crop. Leave me alone. Let God to run the world. And continue run the world.
That's the Trump. That's the climate change hoax.
Yeah,
It's a Rabina, it's a hoax.
It's an
Okay.
actual answer, no points.
What?
He
No.
actually answered it.
No. It's an insult, first of all, against
Oh,
people
that's
who
2
think.
points.
Against Bnei Brak.
And he spoke about no, it's at least 3 points. I would say 4 points. Oh,
We'll give 3. Okay.
Right now, a little bit of a risky one here. Rabina, on a similar topic, what's your opinion of fracking?
What is this? Frank?
Not sure.
I don't understand what is the word.
But do you think it's
Help
a
me pay with
good
Shnash.
thing, a bad thing?
I don't understand what it is.
I'm not allowed to tell you. That's what he said. I'm not allowed to tell you.
Okay, tell them.
Right, fracking is they're looking for new sources of oil, and so they found some ways that there's certain places of kinds of rock called shale rock, and they can crush it and smash it and put water through it in such a way that it can turn it into oil. It's quite expensive, and it can cause a lot of poison to go into the ground, and they think it can affect people's water supplies.
You need people that are objective. Nobody's objective. Everybody has his agenda. What is good and what is bad. You need a group from all the kind of the colleges, all the Ivy League colleges, all the Ivy League around the world, to make if it's good or bad, to do a vote. Like you do about medication. You have the group with everybody trusts them in America, in Washington, would give extra to the medication.
Federal FDA.
You need some FDA. Not everybody has his goal. The Arab Saudi have their goal. Putin now, if you read in the paper, there's a big fight between Putin and the Arab Saudi Arab about the price of the oil. And they're going to crash now on each other. Putin wants to show them Aziz control the world. And really Obama let them to control the world. Now it's very hard to go back. And the Saudi Arab said, you're not going to control the world. Today in the big magazine newspaper, a big picture of the war was going to be, I don't understand any business, but I understood this. As Putin think he is running the world, he is Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Bereshit bara Putin, Putin bara Elohim, and the Arabs, they believe in Muslim, they believe in same God what they believe. And they're going to drop the price by $30 of a chavit.
Good for us.
Very good for us.
All right, so there you have it. Nothing to do with fracking. So that was 1 point, and insulted Putin and the Arabs, the entire Arab world. So that was at least 4 points, 3 points at least. Okay. Now.
Rabbanit.
Oh, Rabbanit Bina. What do you, Rabbanit? Sorry, what does Rabbanit Bina think about fracking?
So fracking.
Did you know the word fracking
No.
before?
No.
Okay, that's
No,
not so
but
bad.
Okay.
That's an
But-
insult. Add that, there's not an insult there. Yeah.
But with my English compared to her English is minus 0.
Right.
Considering
Yes, I tell a good story to my wife.
Insulting himself counts?
Sure. The best story. After we are married, a week, we walk in our Sheva Brochs by the table, walking together, holding them. I felt like my wife's dog. How are you? I did the one well. Mazel tov, I did the one well. After the Sheva Brochas, I mean the 7 days, we didn't get any Sheva Brochas. I'm not complaining, just fact of life. We went back to IU. I mean, she did graduate school. She supposed to study, when she studied graduate school, and I was in the beginning of Moshe Feinstein Koilel for 2 weeks. Then I moved to the Rovita to discuss it. Today is the Yortzeit of Moshe, as I'm not telling the story. And I said to my wife, help me with the English. Teach me a little. And I used to be a good husband. I used to buy her every week Time magazine. She opened the Time magazine. Start to read, Aaron. I said, Malki, I asked you to teach me English. How do you want me to read Time magazine? Don't be lazy. I said, Malki, I love you. You're my wife, but you're not my teacher. Goodbye. Then she came back to be my teacher. We came to a little Jewish philosophy, Maharal and Svasemes and v'chule.
In English or in Hebrew?
Hebrew, not in English.
Can Rabbanit read the word time?
Yes,
Because
it's not too hard.
that was on the,
It's
that was
the
the cover
cover
of the magazine.
and the price.
Okay.
I used
And
to
the
pay every
price.
week. Every week. And then
So
I
you can
used
read
to
the
buy
price
it
as well.
for many months together. Used to be a little cheaper for Israelis. I
You get a
when-
subscription.
Okay.
but
Yeah.
my wife said to me a few years ago, I hate this magazine, as I stopped to buy it.
How it
But-
started becoming more anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Okay, so Rebbe, what does Rabbanit think of fracking?
Look, there are those who think they know everything and that you can't have something like fracking. But you know, if it can be important, it can work. We have to set up commissions. You know, we can't just judge on people that think it's wrong. We have to say maybe there are ways that it can be done, right? We can't just take it for granted that we don't have fracking. Maybe there are good things that'll come out. We'll get more oil or water or whatever. It'll be good, and then we have to set up a commission. That's what you have to do all the time. You set up a special commission, and they'll make this decision. Fine, no problem.
Okay, so 1 pointer. Rabbanit, what do you think about socialism? Bernie Sanders in the race has been very much accused of trying to bring America to a socialist place. What does Rabbanit think about socialism?
All right, so socialism, the question, what democracy? That's the values of America, democracy. Every person counts, every person's equal. Now, socialism, and then every person democracy has to stand alone and has to stand up strong and has to stand up for his rights and her rights. And socialism takes too much for granted that it's only the community, it's only the society, but loses sight of every individual marching forward in democracy. And I think socialism it could be dangerous, that it could stop people from being independent-minded and thinking. We have to, as a democracy in America and in Israel, of course, we have to value democracy. Maybe some of the ideals of socialism are in the Torah also, that you have to take care of the poor and the needy and the chesed, that kind of thing of socialism we could go with. But when socialism takes over and it could turn into communism, God forbid, then all society becomes corrupt. Then that's not good. We have to. Each person has to be his own independent entity.
That's a one pointer. 1 pointer?
I think she answered it beautifully. I don't think she gets
We
anything.
spoke all about democracy.
Is she what?
Spoke all about democracy.
But she did answer the question.
Okay, fine. So no
Okay.
points.
No,
Terrible
points.
politics there. What does Bina think about socialism?
You know, I said every time to the boys, also last week when I talk about Matonis Lavion in Parsha Shkolim, one of my $1 million questions about Judaism is not free choice. Let's not discuss it, it's not free choice. And the second one, but harder, a little hard, hurts you more in the heart, is not equal in Judaism. We have the poor and we have the rich. Fair? The world is not fair. Why I have stoma and not other people? What, I'm the biggest Hitler of our time? Why I have a stoma? I'm not trying to answer. God run the show. It's not equal in the world. Socialism is a big sheker. Sheker, sheker, sheker. Stalin is dead. Putin Alavai be dead. They all live in the fake. It's no socialism. We're all Democrat. We believe in democratia. Now in Israel, in the election. Bibi is very upset as Gantz wants to go with the Arabs. Too bad. How Gantz trust the Arabs? I also don't know. You're going to give them some power in the country? You're going to lose all our security. They will kick out from the country. But they're Arabs. They have a vote in the Knesset. They can try to run the Knesset. How you can try to run with them? You Gantz? Okay, you want the chair of Prime Minister. That's what it is. You're willing to sell your mother and your brothers, the Jews. Sell them. But it's part of democratia. I like it? No. 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 I know very well who is Bibi. But he has a lot of zchuyot. A lot of zchuyot. But I don't believe in socialism. Fake news.
He answered the question also.
No way.
What?
He insulted Putin, Bibi, half the system.
Guns,
Then
Arabs.
Then he's for sure that was brilliant. It's got nothing to do with it's little to do with like doing deals with
But Bibi is too much he wants to.
yeah. All right, we have time for 2 more questions. You'll be sorry to hear. But question number 1.
No, just start again because we might end up cutting these out depending on what they answer.
Okay. Next question, number of which we don't know what number it is. Is America ready for a woman president? Let's start with Rabbina, because it's more appropriate to start with Bina for this one. Is America ready for a woman president? They haven't had one before.
Why not? If she's good, it's nothing to do man and woman. If she's good. If you ask me who will be the president of America, me and my wife, not because I have Israeli passport. I feel if I have American passport, my wife, she's much better for me. Nothing against women.
So
Was a woman in Slonim. What her name used to be Reb Rochele. She used to test my father every Ben Azmanim about whatever I learned in Yeshiva. Woman equal to men.
Alright, so that was 1 point. 'cause we went off
And
topic.
Flatbush and Ramaz, in the old time when it was really a good school, the girls much better in Gemara from the boys. Much better from the boys.
Alright. Rabbanit Bina, is America ready for a woman president?
I tell you, going back, if we go back to the model in our Talmud, right, and we had this period where there was the Rosh Yeshiva, I forgot what he was called, and then there was the Nasi, right? You have the Rosh Yeshiva and the Nasi. So I think the Nasi would be equivalent to be the president, and the what was it called? The Rosh Beis Din, right? Av Beis Din, right? The Av Beis Din and the Nasi. The Av Beis Din would be more like the Rosh Yeshiva. So I think that the question would be not only, there are 2 positions, 2 big positions that we see. We have the president, and we also have the head of the rabbinic court, the Rosh Yeshiva. So my question really is more, let's say, could the women be the head of the rabbinic court? Could the women be the Rosh Yeshiva? I think as a president, it's less of an issue. I think the presidency already, she didn't make it, Hillary, but, it was her fault. She she definitely had, had support, and she just, her policies, her personality, whatever, she didn't make it, but I think America is ready. I think they're top women. I think not only, as a president, but I think we have to even go further, because there are things above the president that the Rosh Hashiva, Torah, right, the main thing, Torah, and are based in. And Bezrat Hashem, women should, it's important also, of course, for the men and for the women to learn a lot of Torah and to be involved. And then women and men will love Hashem and do more mitzvot and Torah and chesed and women involved and included and partners and everything.
Moishe Emes, the Rosh Emes, Bezrat Hashem לעתיד לבוא, whenever we comes to Purim and Chanukah. After Chanukah, after Purim, we all be zoiche, mochatim chesecher Amalek, and we all be zoiche with the opening, Adar Kiblu Abimech HaShveirosh. And thank you very much, Rabbi Meis, and thank you a lot to my wife, but she has a birthday in a few days. I love you, and I bless you for many, many long years, and God give you strength to suffer for.
Just for the record, again, for the second year in a row, Bina has won 21-15.
Oh, wow.